In what could be a defining moment for the monarchy's future, Prince William is reportedly planning a move that Prince Harry has been dreading for years. The second William becomes king, his first act could be to unleash a bonfire of royal titles, with his own nephew and niece, Archie and Lilibet, as the primary targets. And this isn't just coming out of nowhere. It's a deep-seated fear for Prince Harry, now detailed in a bombshell new book claiming to expose William's ruthless vision for a leaner monarchy. What was once a bond between brothers now seems to be teetering on the edge of a royal cliff, with two children's birthrights hanging in the balance. The whole conflict boils down to one simple, yet devastating question. When the time comes, will a future King William V actually sign a decree that could erase his brother's children from the royal lineage? According to royal insiders and a controversial new biography, the answer is a shocking yes. This drastic step is supposedly the endgame in William's long-term strategy to shrink the monarchy, a move sources say he believes is vital for its survival. For Harry, this isn't just about protocol. It's being seen as the ultimate family betrayal, a sign that his kids could be permanently cast out of the fold. We're about to dive into the explosive details of William's alleged plan and the book that has sent shockwaves through the palace. But first, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss a single update on this story that could change the royal family forever. So what's really at the heart of all this drama? A father's fear. Prince Harry is reportedly consumed by the very real possibility that his brother, the future king, will strip Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet of their titles. This isn't just paranoia. It's a fear apparently pieced together from whispers behind palace walls, all pointing to one thing. Prince William is a man on a mission. We've all heard about his vision for a leaner monarchy for years, but now, what was theoretical is starting to feel deeply personal. This anxiety has been thrown into the spotlight by controversial royal author Tom Bower. His latest book, supposedly titled Betrayal, Power, Deceit, and the Fight for the Future of the Royal Family, allegedly documents Harry's state of mind. Bower, who is known for his ruthless biographies, claims to have the inside scoop on Harry's deepest fears. He paints a picture of a prince watching from California, convinced his brother isn't just planning a professional restructuring of the firm, but a personal cleansing of the family tree. The book suggests Harry sees this not as policy, but as the final nail in the coffin for his family's exile. According to Bower's account, Harry's fears have been growing since he and Meghan stepped back. He reportedly sees William's stone-cold silence and the family's broader actions as the warm-up act for a formal severing of ties. The story here is of a prince who believes his children's birthright is on the chopping block, a casualty of a war between two brothers that has now spanned continents and years of bitter feelings. Tom Bower's book is really pouring gasoline on this fire. In it, he makes the explosive claim that Prince Harry lives in fear that King William's reign will kick off with an act of constitutional revenge. The book alleges that Harry is shocked by how fiercely the royal machine, seemingly with William's approval, has moved to isolate him. Bower claims the tensions that started after Harry and Meghan's wedding, with William and Kate supposedly seeing Meghan as a disruptive force, have now hardened into a concrete plan. A huge source of Harry's alleged anxiety, according to Bower, was watching the swift and brutal takedown of Prince Andrew's royal life. Seeing his own uncle, long thought to be the late Queen's favorite son, stripped of his affiliations and public role, sent a clear message. Nobody is untouchable. The thinking is, if the monarchy could act so decisively against Andrew amid the Epstein scandal, what would they be willing to do to the prince who chose to walk away? Of course, the Sussexes aren't just letting these claims slide. Their camp has reportedly fired back, dismissing Bower's book as a deranged conspiracy from an author with a personal fixation on them. A spokesperson supposedly implied that Bower is just making it all up to sell books. But, despite the denials, the seed of doubt has been planted, and the claims in Betrayal do seem to echo what other royal sources have been saying for years about William's intentions. So what exactly is this master plan Harry is so afraid of? Insiders have nicknamed it the bonfire of royal titles, a sweeping reform that Prince William is said to be determined to push through the second he has the power. The goal is to completely restructure the monarchy by stripping all non-working royals of their titles, leaving only a core group of senior royals who are actively serving the crown. The reported hit list is pretty long. At the top, you've guessed it, are Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and their children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. But the cuts wouldn't stop there. Also in the crosshairs are Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, Prince Andrew's daughters, who aren't full-time working royals. The plan is even said to include finishing the job with Prince Andrew himself by trying to remove his final prince title. So how would he even do it? Well, the plan would reportedly involve new letters patent. These are basically royal executive orders, and in this case, they would need to be approved by Parliament to become law, effectively rewriting the rules on who gets to be a prince or princess. In a fascinating twist, sources claim William's own kids, George, Charlotte, and Louis, would have their titles parked until they're adults, when they could choose a life of royal duty. It suggests William's vision isn't just about cuts, but about introducing choice for future generations, a choice he might not be willing to give his brother's kids. To really get why Harry's fears seem so real, you have to look at the precedent set by Prince Andrew. The way the Duke of York's scandal was handled is seen by many as a dress rehearsal for what might come next. While his situation was tied to serious allegations, the institutional response was a brutal lesson in modern royal power. Let's be clear about what actually happened. In early 2026, Andrew was pressured to give up his remaining affiliations and, crucially, to stop using his Royal Highness or HRH style. However, he is still the Duke of York. Removing that kind of peerage requires a complicated act of Parliament. Still, the public stripping of his role was a huge statement. Royal sources have repeatedly claimed that Prince William was a key voice pushing for this hardline approach, believing the softer measures taken by his grandmother just weren't enough to protect the monarchy. This is the lens through which Harry is reportedly seeing his own family's future. The logic is simple. If the institution, pushed by William, could so effectively sideline Andrew, what chance does the estranged brother in Montecito have? The Andrew case proved that tradition and sentiment wouldn't stand in the way of what the future king thinks is necessary. For Harry, watching his uncle get cast into the royal wilderness wasn't just a news story. It looked like a clear warning. But could William actually pull this off? Stripping his nephew and niece of their titles isn't as simple as just signing a paper. It would mean navigating a legal and constitutional minefield that's been centuries in the making. And here's where it gets complicated. The His or Her Royal Highness or HRH part is a style, not a title, and it's a gift from the monarch. It can be given, and it can be taken away. When Harry and Meghan stepped back, they agreed not to use their HRH styles, but they technically still have them. A new king could easily make that removal permanent. But the titles of Prince and Princess are a totally different ballgame. Archie and Lilibet's right to those titles comes directly from the 1917 letters patent issued by King George V. This rule says that the grandchildren of the monarch in the male line get to be called prince or princess. As the children of the current king's son, they automatically became Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet when Charles took the throne. To undo that would mean overturning a century-old rule and would likely face major political and legal hurdles. Not to mention the PR nightmare of stripping titles from the monarchy's first prominent mixed-race members, a move critics would surely call vindictive. Adding another layer of confusion to all this is the fact that, right now, the official royal family website does list the children as Prince Archie of Sussex and Princess Lilibet of Sussex. This current reality seems to fly in the face of all the fears of a future purge. Faced with these rumors, Harry and Meghan's strategy seems to be a mix of public defiance and, according to some, private hope. Their choice to use the prince and princess titles for their kids, especially in the announcement for Lilibet's christening, was seen by some palace insiders as a bold move. It was a clear signal that they believe these titles are their children's birthright and they're going to use them, no matter the whispers from London. Behind the scenes, the story is supposedly more complex. Sources close to the couple suggest they might not be on the same page. Meghan is reportedly confident the titles are untouchable, believing the public backlash, especially in America, would be too massive for William to risk. Harry, on the other hand, is said to be clinging to the hope of preserving the HRH status for his kids so they can choose a life of royal duty when they're older, a sign he hasn't completely given up on them being part of the family business someday. But that hope is seen as deeply unrealistic by those close to William. They point to the massive gap between the brothers, made obvious by the fact that William appears to have no public relationship with his own nephew and niece. This emotional distance only fuels Harry's fears that his children are being slowly erased from the family picture, long before any official decree is ever signed. This bitter conflict is about so much more than two kids' titles. It's a clash between two brothers with two totally different visions for the future of the British monarchy. It's a battle over whether the institution should be a big, extended family or a slimmed-down, corporate-style firm. From William's perspective, the bonfire of titles is a necessary act of modernization. Supporters argue the public won't tolerate a huge, taxpayer-funded family of minor royals with fancy titles but no real job. To them, this is about trimming the fat to save a broken system and keep it relevant in the 21st century. A leaner monarchy is a stronger monarchy. But critics see this reported plan in a much darker light. They see a personal vendetta disguised as public policy, an attempt by William to punish his brother for leaving his post and airing the family's dirty laundry. They argue that removing diverse members like Archie and Lilibet would send a terrible message about inclusivity, making the monarchy look colder, more exclusive, and out of touch with the multicultural nation it's supposed to represent. This isn't just a family feud, it's a struggle for the very soul of the institution. The stage is being set for what could be the most dramatic royal showdown in modern history, ready to ignite the moment Prince William takes the throne. On one side is Prince Harry, reportedly tormented by the fear that his children will be stripped of their birthright. On the other is Prince William, the future king, who is said to believe a ruthless cull of titles is the only way to save the monarchy. Now, it's important to remember that these are all plans and fears based on insider reports and a mountain of speculation. No titles have been stripped. No decrees have been signed. King Charles's reign continues, and the Sussex children are, officially, a prince and a princess. But the story of William's impending bonfire of titles just keeps getting bigger, fueled by years of resentment between two brothers on two very different paths. So what do you think? Is a leaner monarchy the right way to go, even if it means stripping titles from a king's own grandchildren? Or is this a deeply personal move that risks doing more harm than good? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.